What's up, Natty Nation? It's your boy Kronk.
It's your boy Junebug.
And today we're going to be reacting to a 17 years, 500-pound bench. Natty or not? This is our thing. Ready, Junie?
Let's see it, man.
We're about to go in. See what's going on here.
Right
watching
now,
our
before
glorious
watching the video,
Coach Greg.
all you know is he's 17 years old, bench pressing 500 pounds. How many think he's natural? And so as a betting man, I'm going with the odds. I'm thinking there's no way this kid could be natural.
I agree.
no way.
This is absolutely insane.
Coach Greg, in today's video, we're doing a natty or not, and it's on a 17-year-old who bench presses, get this, 500 pounds. And what makes this incredibly unique is the fact that he has his complete 5-year transformation dating back to when he was only 12. And so for 5 years, we're going to see.
Yeah, that's normally how you would look benching. What's crazy though, even at 12, that's really freaking strong.
Yeah, I remember my freshman year.
135 seems like, kind of where people would more or less be after a little bit of training, a couple months of training. But like at 12 years old, like I didn't even realize. You know how young that is?
That's like little brother status, bro. Like
little brother status, bro.
Like, dude, it's like
at 12, like you can barely like.
That's middle school, bro. It's literally like,
you don't even know how to talk to people yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
bet you 135. It's crazy.
Exactly how he progresses.
Barely know how to walk.
And so remember, what we're looking for is specific peaks in size and or strength. If he's slowly making gains and suddenly jumps up, we're gonna know he.
Ain't no freaking 12-year-old benching. Even 135 is very ambitious. Even like, unless you're really heavy, a 12-year-old. That's already like. You don't really even. I mean, I don't know, man. That already to me seems skeptical. I feel like he already might have been using PEDs from a very early age. I think now we're playing the guessing game, not of whether or not he's natural or not. We know he's not natural.
It's whether or not what's he taking.
When did he start taking stuff? And yeah, what kind of cycle we're looking at here? Like what kind of stack was he working with?
Perhaps took some SARMs, trend tests, whatever. And so right now, before watching the video, all you know is he's 17 years old, bench pressing 500 pounds. How many think he's natural? Remember, it was a touch and go, not performed in a powerlifting competition, not drug tested, but it's still 500 pounds. And so as a betting man, I'm going with the odds. I'm thinking there's no way this kid could be natural. And so let us see and find out, is this guy natty? When did he go on?
He squatted that
Stay
yesterday.
tuned to find out.
That's crazy. His form is pretty bad here.
And so the first thing you need to realize is this kid is training with his father. I don't agree with how they're training. Remember, he's doing a 1-rep max bench press at 12 years old, and the bar is not touching his chest. It's 135 pounds, but he's only...
Yeah. In all honesty, I agree. There's nothing wrong, like, inherently with children training with heavy weights. It's actually really good for children to learn how to properly lift. Helps a lot with their biomechanics, helps a lot with them in terms of mobility. If you want to get them in sports or even in dancing or something, like it's good for them to be coordinated and know how to move their bodies. But with that being said, you want it to be safe. I mean, you don't want to risk hurting your child. So, I mean, while yes, like you might get hyped up and want to push your kid, probably best to start off light and teach them slowly how to get there instead of throwing them up. Like you could tell. He obviously didn't have the technique down yet because he didn't even touch his chest. He's wobbling around, lifting his feet. Like, if his technique is this bad, obviously the form wasn't really hammered in enough before he went to maxing out. So, I don't know. A bit ahead of it, but I get it. He's an ambitious father. It is what it is.
12 years old. And so the first thing I want to point out is this is amazing genetics. Obviously, he's very strong. To bench press 135 pounds at 12, very, very impressive. And although it was horrible lifting technique, I don't think he should be going for maxes. I think he should be doing
that's what I'm saying. Like, I could see a kid with perfect technique maybe doing 135. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like, he's literally like not locking out right.
Like
flat.
That's complete strength that he's doing that with. And I just don't know if I buy that a 12-year-old has like that strength already. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I mean, it just depends too, genetically too, because there's a lot of people that I like.
Depends how much he weighs and stuff too.
Who are bigger for their age, and they look like they're like 18 and stuff, and they're like way younger than they are. So it's like, bro, it just depends.
No,
on
I mean, yeah, there definitely is some variation there, but I don't know, man. It's I don't know. Like, you ever really met a 12-year-old that is already benching 135 at all?
No.
I mean, most Most
at all.
grown adults starting, like grown men starting training who never trained before, aren't benching 135 to start out with. And in fact, the only time where you'll typically see that is people who are already doing some other form of training, like they do some kind of sport, they're already athletic, they do calisthenics. They're not just like, never done anything athletic before, jumping into it, and they're already benching 135 is a little bit odd, especially at 12. Maybe 14, I'd be like, okay, a little more reasonable. 12 is a little young.
Higher reps, it's still very, very impressive. I'm going to be
It is
comparing
impressive,
him
though.
to myself. I started lifting at 10. I have a world record in the bench press. I'm very good at the bench
crazy.
press. And so we're going to see, is this kid in fact stronger
mean,
than
it's
Coach
good.
Greg? Does he have better
So I was
genetics
like-
than me?
I started pretty early too.
Easy, yeah.
My freshman year.
See, now this is what's, once again, the technique. It's 12 years old. Clearly not a whole lot of time has passed, maybe a couple of months. This is a realistic amount of growth. 135, 155, you can definitely make that growth in a couple of months of good training. But it is a little odd that his technique is still so bad, because I'm like, and granted, children are awkward, when it comes to their movement in general, but like, you would think that he would spend more time on technique.
And so the dad is grunting louder than last time. He's 12 years old, still pressing
Grunting louder than last
155
time.
I don't
pounds.
blame him.
This time, he's getting all the way down to his chest. But notice there is no pause. In a powerlifting competition, you have to stop the weight on your chest. He's saying, easy, easy,
Almost
easy,
fell off the
as
bench.
he's struggling for his life to get the bar up.
Easy,
If there were
easy.
one more pound on that
horse.
bar, it was not going up. And so I don't know if it helps to have someone scream in your ear how easy it is when you're fighting for your life to get it off your chest. Perhaps he's thinking, I better get this
Like
weight
Ronnie
up or my
Coleman.
father is
Lightweight.
not going to be happy.
Yeah, buddy.
Easy, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
Easy.
Hey, it's funny though. Like, some people get frustrated when you're yelling at them when they're lifting or like training, but other people like really get hyped up from it. So I don't know. Do you like when people yell at you when you're lifting? You get hyped?
Easy.
Some start saying that to you. Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's hyped.
I'm just rewatching it. And so what he should be doing is he should be planting his feet into the ground. The father is spotting.
Mhm.
Perhaps he should be giving him some more instructions. Hey, next time, arch your back, stick your chest up, dig your feet into the bench, use some leg drive, because as he's pressing up, his feet are wobbling around, moving unbalanced. And so it's certainly not helping his lift. But remember, he's 12 years old. But when you first start lifting weights, you shouldn't be going for 1 rep maxes. Although it's very impressive, you should be trying to master his technique. And you'll notice throughout the years, as I've already watched this, his technique continues to
Ideally with children, the best way to go about training them is to kind of expose them to as much form of like physical activity as possible. Like, you don't really want to get too specific. You can, but with kids, you really want to just like throw them in different sports, have them try different forms of, athletic things, just even different activities. Like, you just kind of want to expose them a lot of stuff. And the reason why is because they don't really know what they enjoy yet. And even adding on to that, like, you kind of want to make them well-rounded and give them the foundation and basics to relatively most things, so that when they do figure out what they like to do, they can pursue those without having too much of an issue starting off, right? Like, I would recommend, you get them into, some running sports. You can put them into like something, some kind of combat sport, put them into, teach them how to lift, teach them how to do regular things like skateboard and stuff like that too. It's all good. You want to expose them to a lot of stuff. That way their nervous system can get used to it. They figure out how to move. They get better at motion in general, right? It's very important with children specifically, because then you avoid these issues. I wouldn't be so focused on getting the max out constantly. He's very young, It's not bad. It's not bad to do, but just master the technique first. Prevent any issues.
get worse. He's bouncing the weight off his chest. Looks like he's going to pop, snap something, crack a rib. And so please, please don't live like this. It's
Pretty
only
strong,
a matter of
man.
time. It's not if, but when.
His form's
he
good
gets
now.
injured.
Come on now, go.
He has good technique towards the end. That's a lot better.
And so
All right.
absolutely.
He figured it out by 13, man. He got that shit down. His form wasn't so
Either like
bad.
a few months or like a year, because depending on like when his birthday is,
It's
you
probably
you
about
gotta
a year.
down.
His first video was like, he was also at 12. So I would imagine that was probably after like 6 months or something like that. He probably was training. And that's a realistic amount of growth to make in that time period, especially at that age. Your testosterone starts kicking in a little bit.
Really
He
pumped.
might
You
have
can
not
see
been
he's
on
now
anything.
13 years of age. He's up to 175 pounds. So far, I believe it's natural. Unless you're going to tell me that he started taking SARMs and or steroids at the age of 12, I really don't think so. At 13 years of age, just so you
Nowadays, you don't. I know it sounds absolutely crazy, I don't put anything past people nowadays. There's a lot of people out there now who they're horrible. I mean, they make their kids take all kinds of things to get them to the next level. I don't agree with it at all. I think it's completely wrong. I don't think anybody honestly, I don't think anybody under 25 should really be messing with PEDs at all. I think it's completely unnecessary, especially under 21, and even more so if you're under 18. Like, shouldn't even be considering it at that age. Um, you know, there's definitely a lot of people though that do. And clearly, I mean, if you see 17 and benching 500 pounds, I would suspect that he definitely has PED use. And I'm pretty sure he came out and said that he does now, but I don't know.
Probably got like exposed or something.
Yeah, after he kind of got exposed already. But my whole thing is like, if he's using at 17, like, who do you think is providing this to him? You think he's just finding it on his own, or you think like there has to be,
One source only.
Somebody's introducing him to it? Yeah, in a lot of times it's your parents. And if his parents are okay with him using PEDs at 17, I wouldn't put it past them to let him use them at 15 or maybe even younger. That people do all kinds of messed up things like that, man. And it's just the reality of the world we live in. It's not at the goal at all, but it's what happens. So I don't put it past anybody.
My max bench press was 232 pounds. I weighed 128. I was much smaller than this guy. I think he's around 6'2", perhaps. At his biggest, at 17, he weighs 238 pounds. And so he's a very large young man.
Yeah.
Yep, let's go. Yeah.
That's strong at 13, man. That's very strong.
And so you can see he's clearly bulking. He's increasing his body fat percentage. He's in a calorie surplus. He's only 13. He's going through a growth spurt. He's gaining weight. He's eating a lot of food. And so it makes perfect sense that he's getting stronger than last time. Up next, we see 220.
Now, I would also be curious, did he have videos of him squatting and doing deadlifts or any other movements? And the reason why is because if he's focusing purely on the bench press, it makes sense that he's very good at benching. Like if he's benching 3-4 times a week, his bench is going to skyrocket its progression very fast. And that could give him some slack and maybe say that it's possible that he was natural at this point still. You know what I mean? But if his training was more so on the long lines of like, he benched once or maybe twice a week, I would say maybe not benching 200 at 13 sounds kind of insane. I'm not going to lie.
Because a lot of people when they start the gym, their main focus is benching. I don't know why.
It's very common.
Everybody wants to bench and everything. But the thing is, it's like there's a tactic where you're supposed to have at least leg day.
You gotta have a split. Yeah,
like a split. So where you have it, so you're working on each muscle. But if you're just working on solely benching and chest, it's like obviously your bench can be high, but what would be the purpose of it if you're not gonna work on anything else but just purely benching?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's an easy movement to teach. So maybe if he's working out with his father, he might not feel he's ready to go do other movements. So he might just be starting him with the bench press, and that's okay. I'm just curious how frequently are they training the bench press? Because that would be a big thing, like an indicator of like, okay, is he natural? Is he on some kind of PEDs? And I don't think he's taking like steroids yet, but he might be messing around with some SARMs or something, It's very possible. That's usually where people start with PED use. They usually start very small with SARM use, and they'll go to like either peptides or then eventually full on gear, and they might start with some tests and they'll start with something else. A lot of times people mess up their cycles too, and they'll take some crazy mix of shit that doesn't make any sense. They'll start with like just Anavar, no test base.
25 pounds, 2 plates aside. He's only 13. And pressing up the weight.
All right, man. Now this is why I start calling bullshit.
It's 2 plates.
This is where, I don't know, Judy. You think at 13, he went from 200 to 225 in a couple months?
Hell no.
Yeah, usually that transition there takes people like 6 months to a year for most people.
Not a lot of people can do 225.
Even with really good genetics, even with good training, this type of growth at 13 years old is very unusual. You can definitely make this type of growth as like an adult, but it's like a kid, I don't know, 13. There's a point where I'm like, okay, genetics they only can make up for so much, right? Like everybody seems to think that like this idea of like God's tier genetics that people could just have, where they just, these things that make no sense. They're just completely asinine to everybody else. They're just making it happen. And I hate to break it to you because it doesn't really exist. The variation in genetics is very small. It's not as great as people think it is. If it was, you'd be like a whole different species. You know, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. I mean, when we talk about genetic differences, mostly it's stuff to have to do with like the region that your ancestors come from and small little differences, right? Like how your body adapts to heat or perhaps, I don't know, differences in size, you know, the length of limbs and stuff like that, right? Like it's small little differences that could compound and make a big difference over in the long run. But I mean, it's not making you like literally into Superman, you know? And it's not like people are walking around with like this ungodly amount of testosterone in their system at 13 years old because they have good genetics. It's just not how it works. It's not that large a variation. Humans are very similar to one another. We're not, you know, we have genetic variation, but we're not as different as you would probably like to think. We're not. I mean, our entire anatomy is not going to be completely different from one person and the other. You know, it's mostly just appearance differences.
Yeah, because that would make everybody just a fucking different species.
Yeah, like it's too much variation.
It's like, what?
It's an exaggeration. The way people see it, and I'm exaggerating a bit, but like, you know, the way that people see it, they act like some people are just walking around like they're literally X-Men. You know, it's not. It's not. You're not that different from one another. You know, so this whole idea, I think, of justifying these ungodly differences in strength and size, you got to cut it out, man.
The leg is beginning to come off the ground. He's still pushing. The father's screaming harder than he's pushing. He's got his hands in the air.
Did he pause?
Easy weight.
For that one?
I think it was a touch and go.
So easy. You got this. Remember when Sam Sulek said not every set needs to look like you're fighting for your life? This is what he's talking about. Looks like he's fighting for his...
100% correct, right? You will get stronger training lighter. Like, believe it or not, right? Like, you want to push hard, but if you're pushing to the point where you're like RP10 on every single lift that you do, you're not going to continuously get stronger. You're eventually going to hit a plateau. And you're going to wonder why you're hitting a plateau, and it's because you're getting diminishing gains. Your body cannot grow past the point that it is, right? Because it's just, it can't salvage the tissue that's already being destroyed by you. Now, 225 with that horrendous technique is just insane to me. I remember when I was a teenager, you know, and I did accomplish that similar lift. Huh?
Back in my day.
Come on, man. You're making me old, man. But, you know, I do know that it does make a difference. You know, technique is huge. I mean, I remember when I first benched 200. I remember when I first benched 225 as a teenager. And I'll tell you, man, my technique was like pretty damn good. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was pretty good for the age. I wasn't, you know, my feet wasn't coming up, my legs weren't wobbling, and all, like my nervous system didn't look like it was in complete shock every time I was doing it. And so I don't know. That's another thing that kind of makes me a little bit suspicious here, because you see how his CNS is responding when he does these movements, and to me, it almost seems like, you know, he's just lifting them out of pure like muscular growth, like hypertrophy. Like he's growing bigger, and that's allowing him to lift more weights. But it doesn't look like he's actually conditioned to lift heavy at all.
Lift heavy, yeah.
And I don't know, like, even when you max, do you look like that when you're maxing? Even when you were younger, because you used to lift in high school too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you didn't look like that. You know what I mean? Where you're shaking and stuff every time you did a movement. You know, your feet are coming off and your tips. I don't know. It's just a little odd to me. To me, it almost seems like they might not really be training
efficiently.
Well, not even that. It's I don't know if he's training to get that size as much. He might be on PEDs already. You know what I mean? He might be taking something that's causing him to grow faster than he can even keep up with the training. Just my suspicion.
It's like everything he's doing, it's like
he's about to play it again.
Even before this, like all the other ones, he was still shaky.
Yeah, everything. Like I get it. At 12 when he first started, it kind of makes sense.
And don't get me wrong, like his form is better than it was, but he's still
at this point, he's been lifting now for a year and a half, 2 years, and he's already up to strength of like benching 225, which is, I mean, at 13 years old, is completely asinine to me. But
it's crazy.
It's crazy. I don't know a single other person I've ever met in my life that benched that much at 13. That's just absolutely wild. Especially with bad technique. Maybe with good technique, but with bad technique.
That's probably something I would probably get like by the end of my freshman year, beginning of sophomore year. Like closely.
And what, like 14, 15?
Yeah.
Yeah, 15, even 14. a little more believable. 13, it's just crazy to me because I know at that age, I mean,
You're in
you're
middle
just
school,
kind
bro.
of
You're like
just hitting, that stage of puberty where your testosterone's starting to spike up, so it's like kind of hard to believe that your natural test levels are high enough for you to accomplish that at that age, and especially with that little bit of time.
Feet are getting
Look
off
how
the
he
bench.
benches. You
He's
see,
struggling. And remember, he's been
he's
training.
struggling, legs are shaking like that, arms are shaking. To me, it almost seems like he's not used to training the bench that much. I mean, you would figure if he's benching 4 times a week, 3 times a week, really hammering in, if he's just absolutely a unit at bench pressing, technique would be a little bit more perfected by now. What do you think?
or it's like he's kind of like, either lifting
Yeah.
heavy during those weeks, and then
Let's see how many more videos they have at 13, because we can maybe guess how many months apart these might be, and we can see. But if he goes straight to 14 and he's got some ridiculous weight on there, it's not looking
for
good.
At least a year. He's now 13 years of age. He's at 225 pounds. And so do we really need to push that much weight? Now, I know I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite because when I was 13, I was going for 1 rep maxes, but I never knew better. This was in the 1980s. YouTube,
Yeah, no
Facebook,
internet.
I don't even know if the internet was invented yet.
I don't know if the internet was invented yet. 235? He's 14 though. He's 14,
And
so it's been a year.
Up to the age of 14 where he's...
Okay,
that one actually...
That seems realistic, that growth in a year, right? It's about 2 years in, training, slow down, strength increase a little bit, still training kind of rough, maybe not the most optimal training. 235 after a year of training consistently. It's a 10-pound increase. To me, that seems like an increase you would get with non-optimized training, but it is possible. I don't know, though, like that whole idea of him benching 225 by 13, to me, is kind of crazy.
He's pressing 235 pounds, and so at the age of 13,
it definitely looked a lot better. His technique has gotten better.
I was doing 232 pounds in comparison to his 225. Now, remember, I started when I was 10. He started when he was 12. And so I had advantage. I started even younger. But you're going to see now that he now leapfrogs in strength past Coach Greg. And so does that mean he can't be natural? I was doing this natural, and I have a world record. So does that mean because I couldn't do it that he can't? Of course not. He may just have better...
250 at 14.
It's wild.
Where do you want to call it, Junie? What year do you think he may have hopped on PEDs? Because we know at 17 he's admitted that he's 13. On PEDs. At 13. I was gonna say I honestly think, just my suspicion here. I'm not accusing anybody of anything.
He started it, but at a low dosage.
I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but I have a sneaky suspicion that Pops maybe gave him something
that he was
when he started. I don't think there's been a single point in his career of lifting where he was truly natural, if I'm being honest. And I say that because everything that I see, the growth he was making, the numbers he was hitting at such an early age, to me, it almost seems like he was growing more muscle mass than he could even keep up with as far as training and his CNS could even keep up with. It just seemed like he was just gaining too much mass too fast. It just always kind of seemed off to me. 13 benching 225, that's just crazy. Now the 10-pound increase seemed like maybe he hopped off something, or maybe he hit the limit of whatever he was taking. I almost suspect his training may not be that good at all. He may not have had a good training program from the start, which would make sense, right? Training with dad. Dad maybe isn't the most knowledgeable. He just wants you to work out, right? Cool. Probably doesn't have the best training in the world. Probably doesn't have the best diet. He's just dirty bulking. He's just putting on calories. Okay, that seems typical. Now, the increase in strength, to me, it just seems very odd. I wouldn't push it past Pops, maybe giving him some SARMs at a very early age, or peptides or something like that. And maybe when those stop doing the trick, we get him on some real gear. And I think maybe around 14, maybe 14 in a couple months, he probably hopped on his first cycle, probably some TRT, probably low-dose TRT, maybe, I don't know, maybe 100, 200 nanograms, I have to guess, maybe. But now he's probably on full-on gear, more than tests. He's probably taking some other stuff at 17, maybe Anavar or something like that, really trying to add into his strength. And that's my suspicion. I think that's my theory. I can't say if it's true. I can't accuse anybody of anything, but that's what I suspect. Just so everything's kind of pointing in that direction to me personally. I don't know. How do you feel about that? Seem reasonable? Or you think maybe I'm talking out of my ass?
I feel like that he at an early age, his dad probably gave him some, some steroids, and he's also like, I feel like the dad takes some, so he's like, oh yeah, if it worked for me, it should work for my son, and
It's
he
possible.
sees the growth and everything. He's like, okay, it's kind of working. See, he's accelerating. He's getting these maxes and everything because you can see the pops. He's getting hyped up too, so it's like.
Oh, of course. I mean, yeah, he's a father. He's gonna be proud of his son. Now, one thing I will say, and it is also a possibility, right? I'm gonna give him an out. Back in the day, it was very common for regular supplements that were marketed as just supplements to help you with fitness in general. It was very common for them to have SARMs in them, right? They weren't labeled as SARMs. They weren't listed that way. They weren't sold telling you they had SARMs in them, but there were supplements that were meant to help you become more fit. They're nutritional supplements, right? But they had SARMs in them. And people would take them and not know that they had SARMs in them. And this would happen very commonly. And some people would know and some people wouldn't. They would be sold over the counter and you can just get them. So I wouldn't be entirely shocked if maybe even it wasn't an intentional thing. Maybe he was just, maybe father had some stuff, right? And maybe he was taking it or whatever. Maybe dad was giving it to him. And maybe he had some SARMs at an early age, didn't need it. Probably didn't even realize he was taking SARMs, getting crazy strong. And then he maybe at some point later on, he was like, yeah, I'm going to hop on gear or whatever. Because, he just really likes lifting. He takes nutritional supplements, whatever. That's the out I'm going to give him. Maybe at 13 and 14, he was not natural, but natural in his own mind because he wasn't taking something intentionally with the intention of performance enhancement, but maybe was getting something in the system that was giving him a benefit. I think that's the only other theory I have that could give him a way out to claim that he was natural up until this point. Because he's claiming now that he's not natural anymore. At 17, almost 18, benching 500 or whatever, he's claiming he's not natural. But everything up until this point, he was natural apparently. So obviously he's lying. It's smudged.
It's somewhere in between the line where it's like.
We know he's not natural, but at some point, when did he hop on his first cycle? When did he first take PEDs? That's what we're kind of trying to figure out here. That's my suspicion.
When he didn't become natty.
Yeah, when he lost his natty card. Natty status.
His natty status. His natty card.
Genetics to me. After all, he is a lot taller, a lot bigger.
He is big.
Clearly, obviously, with more mass, more muscle, you can in fact push.
And I'm going to think like bigger guys that I knew in high school, 13, 14, they weren't that strong at all. They did get strong kind of quick. Getting up to 200, 14, closer to 15, it was common. Not common, but like people who trained hard, who had a little more mass on them, good genetics, it did happen. I'd say even maybe 225-ish. But at 13, 12,
bigger weights.
Low out there for me.
6'7".
I'm not buying it.
6'7".
250 at 14 is insane.
And you can see the legs still moving from 250, 275. The legs are wobbling all over the place. And what's interesting is we don't see any sets. Does he, in fact, only go for 1 rep maxes? Does he, in fact, do sets of 5, sets of 10? Or is he only powerlifting for 1 rep maxes?
Like the
but
same
imagine
thing
this.
About.
He's 14. He's benching 275. That is a lot of weight.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, let's go.
For 2? At 14? Nah, bro, there ain't no way.
2.5.
So he went for... Let me get this straight. Within 14, he started at 225 a bench.
Yeah.
Added 50 pounds to his bench in a couple months. And not just 50 pounds, 2.5. That means he's benching well in the 300s already at this age, at 14. Right?
It's crazy.
I mean, he's got to be benching at least 300 pounds. Probably. Maybe 295, maybe 300. Maybe very close to it at 14. I bet you they'll play right now.
And 275 for 2.5 reps, you can see he's still bulking. He's increasing body fat, he's increasing muscle, increasing strength, and he's in his teenage years. He probably has high levels of testosterone, and so to me, it makes sense. He's consistently been getting stronger from the age of 12 to the age of 14. Although he's very strong, he started very strong. And so if your starting point is 135 pounds at only 12, it makes sense that you perhaps are at 275 pounds at the age of 14.
He's repping 295 at 15 years old. The only thing, now this is the one thing I would say though, I haven't seen him do a single other lift besides benching.
Yeah.
So if all he's doing is benching, it makes sense that his bench is skyrocketing. He's spending all his time dedicated to training that one thing. It's possible. It's possible. But I don't know. 295 at 15 though?
Because okay, that's the first time I see the deadlift bar with something on it.
And I'm going to ask you, Junie, because you went to a school where people were actually very high level athletes, right? Did you see anybody like this at 15 benching 295?
Hell no. Fuck no.
It's crazy, right?
They were like the same strength as me when we were lifting like no less than like a plate.
Even the highest level of lifters?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as like for my I'm saying people my age.
Yeah.
For people like that were older than me, obviously, they were strong as shit.
17, 18, but at 14, 15, did you see numbers like this?
No.
See, that's what I'm saying. And you went to a school where a lot of people, I mean, you had junior Olympic people at your school.
Yeah, like a lot of
you know
them.
what I'm saying?
A lot of them.
A lot of them. So if your school is putting out athletes like that, that means you had very good training programming. Whether or not they were on stuff is a whole different debate, but obviously the training was very effective. Yeah. And you're probably seeing some of the best genetics coming out of that school.
Of course.
At least in our area. So it just leads me to suspect something like this to be very, 1 in a billion genetics. I don't know, man. It's just I don't know if I buy it. You know what I mean? Look at that. He doesn't look like he's anything that crazy. So you know what I'm saying? Like where are these amazing genetics coming from? These
15. He's basically his freshman year of high school, bro. Almost.
Yeah. Don't you think Pops would have been a little bit bigger? You know what I'm saying? Like if there's something that ran in the family, you wouldn't be the only one. It'd be like your brother,
Pops would be more strong.
Father, even your mom would be fucking damn near kind of muscular, no? Right?
Like not to discredit his dad. His dad could be strong as shit, but he just got a regular ass dad bod, bro. It's nothing like
a regular ass dad bod.
Nothing too crazy, man.
Yo.
If you think about it, his dad, if it was genetic wise, his dad would be way like fucking huge. Like,
he had a bigger frame or something, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, but
he doesn't look small, but
he just got a regular dad bod. Like he's muscular, but he just got
he looks like a regular guy.
Guy.
I don't know.
Like, hey, what's up, Jim? How you been? Like, oh, what's up, man? My family's pretty good.
Next up, 295 pounds at 15 years of age, and now we can see his foot placement. Do you see how he's on his tiptoes? What you need to do is put blocks. You could put plates on the ground.
Bro, he's not even pushing leg drive in the fucking bench, bro. He's benching 295.
He cares about his son. He's enjoying this. It's great to see. But he could have better lifting technique, and I'm surprised he hasn't gotten hurt. And I know it's cool to stand back and just say lift the weight and cheer him on knowing he got it, but remember, he could get injured. He could tear a pec, and so a spotter shouldn't back out and just watch it happen. Spotter should always be ready to spot in case he's needed. Spotter, your job is not to stand back and cheer him on. Your job is to ensure his safety.
315 at 15.
That's wild.
For reps!
What the
cook? And so perhaps shocks himself and says, what? The cookbook gets 315 for 2 reps. But notice the bounce. Much rather see him pause the way to the bottom. 315 for 1 with the pause. Much better
pause
than
up would be a lot better.
for 2 touch and go where you're ego lifting in the gym. Remember, when he does in fact compete in powerlifting, of which he's going to do, he's going to have to pause the weight. And so if you're used to lifting heavier weights, bouncing it off your chest in the gym, when you get to competition, you're not going to be able to lift that weight. And so please be more cautious.
All right, Greg. 335, 245, and 15. How strong did he get at 15?
No, there's no way.
He went from what, 275?
275 to
345.
How much is that? Let's put out the calculator real quick. So he started at what?
275, I believe.
275.
At 15, I think.
And what? He's at 345.
345 right here. 70.
70 pounds. 70 pounds.
We didn't need the calculator for that, but yeah.
I know.
All right. 70 pounds. That's a big-ass increase, bro, for a couple months.
fuck yeah!
And clearly, he's been bulking harder than last time. He's gained a tremendous amount of weight. And with this extra weight, he has less distance for the bar to travel. It's going to help him to lift a lot heavier. It's good to see him using a safety rack in case he can't lift that weight. Remember, he's bouncing it off his chest. If he does, in fact, tear a pec, it's not going to come crushing down on his neck or his face. And so...
365 at the same age. We're just gonna go through these.
But other drugs,
All
when
right,
you
Greggy.
consider the math,
85.
85.
I just want to see how strong. Nah,
405. Go back. No, go back. Cause
nah, Buddy's definitely on some
they
peds by
can
now.
also do it naturally.
Ain't no fucking way, bro.
no belt or anything, bro.
But he has the elbow wraps. That does help
And
a
so
lot.
405 for the first time at only 15 years of age. He's benching 405.
And
at
if he's a
15.
heavier set guy, the belt is really unnecessary for a bench press. I mean, yeah, that'd help maybe, but not a whole lot. But I will tell you, 405 at 15. So I suspect at this point, at the age of 15, maybe even 14 and 8 months or something, it's probably when he started taking gear, like full-on gear. He probably was ready to test Anavar. I would suspect probably Anavar. Just really adding to his strength. I think that's probably his first real cycle probably began. Up until this point, maybe was taking some fucking peptides, maybe taking some SARMs, maybe. But true gear, yeah, definitely. There ain't no way, bro.
He's definitely on that.
15-year-old, no way in hell you got a 405 bench naturally. I mean, grown-ass men, even the men who train the most optimal in the world, powerlifters, struggle to bench numbers that high.
Let's say he's in the weightlifting team. He could literally just win off of just his bench alone. Let's say his clean and jerk is weak as hell.
Yeah.
He can still win off.
His bench is so high, it would actually put him
high.
on the top 10 for like his state off that alone. He's 15.
It's like, bro.
Yeah.
But notice he now has elbow sleeves. Those wraps on the elbows are going to make it easier than last time. It's like wrapping your knees on the squat.
Makes it easier than last time.
Lower the bar down. It's creating tension. It's pressing the arm up, making it.
It's not even fun to watch anymore. It's just ridiculous.
405-pound bench press, he wouldn't
Can't even guess. I already know he's on stuff at this point.
And if he had to pause the weight as you do in competition.
130.
At 16 at the same time. He went not quite pausing. He's sinking into the chest and pressing up.
He's definitely
that is called a bounce. It's not legal in powerlifting.
It wasn't like a
455. Ridiculous. Ungodly.
And now at 7,
lifting
technique has improved tremendously. However, he still can lift more weight when he
stronger than almost like most grown men. 435.
The weight gets
fucking deadlift.
This is more to do any. And I
practically like
he's not built like
45, 500. Yeah, 3 squatting. That's crazy. And I would even venture to say that the guys around him
kind of helped him lift it up.
No, they're not touching it. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them were on some stuff. He's probably around a bunch of people.
I don't think the guy over here, the one in the gray over there, but I think
these two,
the one in the brown and the one that's spotting him in the
you know what they say, birds of a feather flock together, right? This is likely, you know.
15 years, always wearing lifting straps, and his butt seems to have come off the bench. It's an incredibly amazing performance, and I certainly hope it's natural. I do believe he's natural. I haven't seen any sudden jumps in strength. Teenager, mind-blowing, perhaps.
Really devastated after this, but my friend Albert recommended putting some bands.
Yeah, I will tell you, Coach Greg is really a innocent until proven guilty kind of guy. He really tries to tell people they're natural until there's like everything in its way possible could tell them that they're on something. That's the way I always see it with him. Like I watch a lot of his videos, and it always kind of seems like he really tries not to accuse people of doing stuff unless he really is like absolutely sure. He feels like and it makes sense, you know. You have his level of status in the industry. People are gonna take things you say they're gonna take it with some weight. They're not gonna take it lightly at all. So I understand his caution with trying to say things and accusing people of stuff falsely, but come on, man, 500-pound bench, 17 years old, it's just asinine. I mean, I don't think there's any age that justifies a natural 500-pound bench. I don't really think it's humanly possible, like naturally. I mean, in the 400s, if you're a heavy guy, you know, maybe if you're really heavy, you know, like somebody who's like really, really heavy, weigh like Junie's weight, it's possible. I don't know if a guy who's like relatively lean is gonna do that. maybe 400s. You know what I mean?
He has to be at
Like,
least like 250.
He's like 6 foot, and he probably is kind of heavy. He probably has, pretty hefty build. I would say, in the 400s is realistic. That's reasonable. I don't know about at 17. It's kind of young to be doing those type of numbers, but I do think it's possible naturally. 500 to me is just absolutely insane. I don't know. I mean, what's next? You gonna put on 600 before you start to question if it's natural or not? I mean, I don't know, bro. It's just ridiculous.
By the time he's
pushing
21, he's gonna be lifting 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, but he's benching a freaking Prius, and y'all want to know if he's natural.
He's on the bench and going again.
And so little did we know that when he first tried the 500 pounds, he didn't get it. But they then decided to put bands on the bench to get him better grip so they wouldn't slide on the bench. All benches are different. Wider benches, you can bench more. You need to use a proper lifting bench to get your PRs. And with the bands on the bench, on his second try in the same day with 500 pounds, he actually gets the lift.
The guy in the back is like, ain't no fucking way. It's like this fucking kid, bro. Yeah, I guarantee you.
Ain't no way. He's definitely something.
Yeah, he's like, holy shit, man. Like, I just witnessed that. That's crazy. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, man. It's impressive. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna lie to you. I think that's all there is to Buddy benching 500. Just gonna be Coach Greggy talking her ear off. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that's it, bro. All he did was bench 500. It's just him marketing stuff. All right. Turk. Yeah, I'm gonna say with 500 bench. I mean, it's impressive. Even if you're on gear, that's an impressive lift. I can't discredit him there. He definitely does it. There is a big difference with certain benches. Some benches you're not going to hit as much as others. It has a lot to do with the height and the width. It's just leveraging points. It's just physics. But with that being said, I don't think he's natural. I don't think he's been natural for most of his life. Maybe for a very brief period when he first started off, he might have been natural, but I don't think for very long. What do you think, Junie?
The jury states that he is not natural.
Not natural.
Not natural.
All right, guys, here. Natty Nation has now told you he is not natty. All right. With that being said, this is your boy Kronk.
It's your boy Junebug.
And Natty Nation's out.
We outie.
He actually did it.